Mmm. Can you hear that? That's the sound of warmth, comfort, and connection. Welcome to Cup of Cocoa and Chat, where we sip, share, and start the day with purpose, peace, and a little sweetness. I am your host, Princess, and I am so glad you're here. Mindful Monday. Mindful Monday. Episode number 18, AI, mental load, and modern convenience. Release date Monday, August the 11th, 2025. Weekly theme AI in everyday life, navigating with new normal. This week explores how artificial intelligence is quietly and not so quietly transforming how we live, work, think, and connect. From voice assistants to social media algorithms, we'll unpack what it means, how to stay empowered, and where humanity still leads. So let's start with our greeting this morning. How's everybody doing? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you're tuning in. I am so glad you pressed play. Welcome to Cup of Cocoa and Chat, the podcast, where we sip, share, and start the week with a positive mindset. It's Mindful Monday, and today's conversation is one we're all living through: AI, our mental load, and the ways modern conveniences shape our daily lives. I am your host, Princess, and today is Mindful Monday. This week's theme is one I believe we all need, especially in this busy world. Okay? And as I said earlier, this week's theme is all about AI and everyday life, navigating the new normal. Okay? And today's topic is AI, mental load, and modern conveniences. Now, our motivation focus for today's episode is finding the balance between tech and tranquility. Use tools to lighten your load without losing your peace. And that balance is what we're going to dive in today. Let's unpack how AI and modern conveniences can ease our mental load and where we might be letting them run the show instead of serving us. So, technology can be an amazing partner. It can help us keep track of our schedules, manage our homes, and remind us of things before we forget. But there's a flip side. If we're not careful, we can start leaning on it so much that we lose touch with our rhythm, our intuition, and peace of mind. Today's focus is finding that balance between the tech and the tranquility so that we can use those tools to lighten our load without losing our peace. Now, how AI helps. Let's start with the good stuff. AI tools like Alexa, Google Assistants, Siri, or even the calendar apps can
You will need
feel
to unlock your iPhone first.
I'm sorry. My phone heard me say SIRI. So, even those calendar apps can feel like an extra brain. They take some of that constant mental juggling off your plate. For me, Alexa is my timekeeper. She reminds me to eat breakfast at 10 a.m., to eat lunch at 2 p.m., and to eat dinner at 6 p.m. to stay on my healthy eating habits and goals. She helps me take my medicine. She reminds me the times that I need to take my medicine. She reminds me to do my chores and even keep up with my cup of cocoa and chat task. She reminds me when I need to post. She reminds me when I need to prep. She reminds me when I need to record and upload. I've synced my smart plugs so Alexa dims my kitchen light when the sun goes down to save on energy. I use Chat GPT to plan content, and I use a teleprompter to keep my head videos flowing smoothly. So the teleprompter, I am in love with my teleprompter. I mean, I write down my thoughts and what I want to convey, and then I plug it into Chat GPT, and it gives me a more polished and professional way to say what I want to convey. And then I type it into my teleprompter. I stand in front of my phone, never looking down at paper or anything like that, constantly looking at my phone, and voila. Okay. These things don't just make my life easier, they make it calmer. I'm not holding 100 little reminders in my head all day. It makes my day flow. Now, it can become a crutch, okay? So when convenience becomes a crutch, but here's where we must be mindful. Too much reliance on tech can make us mentally lazy. And Sunday, yesterday, was National Lazy Day, right? So during our week, we have to continuously use our mind. So have you ever used GPS for a route you've driven 100 times? Why? Or found yourself unable to remember an appointment without your phone buzzing? It's like our inner compass starts to fade when we outsource everything. And outsourcing everything is not a good thing. We don't want to outsource everything. We want to keep our mind going. We want to remember the things because soon enough, you may forget some things. So you want to practice with the mind teasers, the mind games, and all of that because I do word puzzles, I do games. I try to keep my mind alive, right? Because I'm at a certain age where I am prone to forget things. So I try to keep things fresh in my mind. So if all your devices went dark tomorrow, could you still move through your day with ease? And that's for our folks that use their reminders, alarms, and the different things to remind you of your daily activities. If all of your devices went dark tomorrow, could you still move through your day with ease? Because that's the question I ask myself from time to time, right? So let's get into how much is too much. Because we all know everything good isn't always good for you. Everything good is not always good for you. So how do we know when we've crossed the line? For me, it comes down to three quick checks. Three quick checks. Number one, does this tool make me more aware or less aware? Number two, am I using it to save time or just so I don't have to think? And number three, if it failed tomorrow, could I still do this on my own? So for me, if the answer to all three is yes, I still could, the tool is probably helping, not replacing me. So I use all the tools to help me, but not replace me. Because that comes with balance. We need a balance. And the beauty of balance, here's where the balance comes in. Let tech support you, not take over. Let tech support you, not take over. Right? So let the technology support you only, not take over. For example, I let Alexa help me with routine reminders, but I keep some task manual, such as journaling. I journal. I write my thoughts down so I can get ready for my podcast, so I can get ready for my live segments. Cooking certain recipes from memory. I do that, right? Or I remember special dates on my own. Like a birthday, I can remember a birthday. I remember everyone's birthday. However, sometimes I remember when that day comes, but I remember everyone's birthday. I remember anniversaries and things of that nature. I also set tech-free spaces in my day. That means no screens during meals. When I'm eating at 10, at 2, and at 6, I'm not looking at the phone or the computer or my iPad. I'm sitting with my thoughts. Because as I often say, in the quiet is when God hears you speak. So that's my time to talk to God. When I'm eating, because I'm thinking, or when I just need a quiet moment. So, no devices for me for the first 30 minutes after I wake up. Right? That's my prayer time, my devotion. No phones, right? I normally wake up somewhere between 6 and 8, sometimes 9. But after 9, before my 10 o'clock breakfast, that's when I do my posts, my doses of inspiration, motivation, and information. Or I'll do that during a time in the evening. So I try to post in the morning, afternoon, and evening. So those little boundaries remind me that I'm still in the driver's seat. Okay? So here are some practical balance strategies you can use or you can start today. Let's get practical. How can you use AI without letting it run your life? Here are a few ideas. Technology with intention. Tech with intention. Use reminders for routine tasks like paying your bills, taking your medication, but keep mind building activities manual. Okay? Like learning a recipe without looking it up every time. Like I said, I do puzzles. I do a lot of different mind building activities to keep my mind fresh. The next strategy, the 2-minute awareness check. Before asking AI for help, pause and see if you can figure it out yourself first. Okay? Pause for 2 minutes and ask yourself the solution to whatever you're trying to figure out before you ask AI. Sometimes you already know the answer. The next one, technology free rituals. Technology free rituals, which is tech free rituals. Create small moments in your day without screens. I do that several times a day. Write your morning thoughts in a notebook. That's where your journaling comes in. Fold your laundry while listening to music instead of watching TV. Or memorize a short affirmation or scripture without looking at your phone. And you will find that it does really help. Okay? So let's get into some listener voices and real life scenarios. So, balance with technology looks different for everyone. What works for me may not work for you. Let me give you a few quick examples. There's there's the mom who uses Alexa to remind her about school drop-offs, but when it's bedtime and it's time for her to do the story time, that's a no screen zone. Just her and the kids turning pages of the book. Then there's the small business owner who taps Chat GPT for quick market research, but she still writes every single caption in her own authentic voice. Or he still writes every single caption in their own authentic voice. And I love this one especially, the retiree, because that resonates with me since I'm a retiree. The retiree who wears a smartwatch to keep an eye on their health, but every morning starts with a pen and paper journaling sessions. Right? A lot of us wear smartwatches, whether it be your Apple Watch or the Fitbit. Um, we keep up with our steps, we keep up with our heart rate, and all of those type of necessities to help us maintain healthy goals. Now, and speaking of Chat GPT, let me give you a peek into how I use it. I use Chat GPT. She's my best friend. I call her she because she's my friend, right? I use her for both my podcast and my chat live segments. But here's the thing, I'm always in the driver's seat. I give it a blueprint, my vision, the tone, the talking points. And if she gets it right, I tweak it so it sounds like me. If she doesn't get it right, I add more detail until she does get it right. It's never about letting AI take over for me. It's about letting it assist while keeping my voice, my values, and my creative footprint front and center. So with today's topic, I was having a conversation with a few of my friends on social media, and we were talking one day, and I was telling them how I use Alexa, Chat GPT, and two of them are teachers, so they use Chat GPT, right? And I was telling them it's nothing wrong with using AI as long as you use it responsibly, right? As a matter of fact, uh, they started using Alexa more because they found that it helps ease their day with keeping reminders, and all the things that you do on a daily basis, right? So with that conversation, we had that conversation months ago, right? And I said, well, why don't I bring that conversation to light with my audience? So I took it to Chat GPT and I told them exactly, I told her exactly what I wanted, how I wanted to set it up, and how it would span through the week, because I do the podcast on Mondays. Tuesdays and Thursday, I give doses of inspiration, motivation, and information. And on Wednesdays and Fridays, I do my live segment. So I had to come up with a structure for the week. And I gave it to Chat GPT, and it brought me the information. And we tweaked it. I started on Saturday and I finished up on Sunday until it was something that I wanted to bring forth, right? So, the point of this, each one of the people that I discuss, including myself, uses tech to make life a little lighter. But we've all drawn a line so our peace and our personal touch aren't lost. So, here's my question for you. If AI disappeared for 48 hours, what's the first thing in your daily routine you would have to adjust? And that's considering you using AI, because not everybody uses AI. Because during that discussion that we had a few months back, one of my friends said, no, I definitely don't use Alexa because I don't want anyone listening to my conversations, right? So you talk about that whole Big Brother thing, them watching. Well, guess what? One of the points I made, your TV, your smart TVs that you have in your home, trust they watch. Your smartphone, trust it watches. Okay? All of our new technology is watching. And if you don't believe me, think about this. Have you ever been on your iPhone? And I guess the Androids do it as well. Have you ever been on the phone, on your cell phone, talking to someone, and you're talking about a subject, a product, whatever it is, and later you start seeing commercials, advertisement of that same thing? Facebook. Have you ever been on Facebook and been on Google and you searched an item or a product? and it starts popping up on your Facebook. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. It is happening all around us, right? So if my smart TVs, my smartphone, my computer, all of that is watching and listening, what's one more device? And that's Alexa, right? I live by Alexa. I love Alexa. I love Alexa. So again, if AI disappeared for 48 hours, what's the first thing in your daily routine you would have to adjust? Think about it. And if you feel like sharing your story, by all by all means, do so. You can drop me a DM on my Facebook, my Instagram, my send me an email, and maybe your story might make it into a follow-up episode of AI. Okay? So, in closing, here's my takeaway for you today. AI tools are like a good cup of cocoa. They warm your hands, but they don't drink the cup for you. Let them lighten your load, but don't let them carry away your peace. Balance is where the magic happens. Balance is where the magic happens. So all this week, I will be dropping gems, talking more about AI. I will be talking more about AI on my live segment on Wednesday morning and Friday morning at 6:30 a.m. 6 a.m. for favorited family, and then bring in Facebook and Instagram. I'm sorry, Facebook and YouTube, because I can no longer go live on Instagram. So I'll bring Facebook and YouTube in at 6:30. And I will continue talking about AI all this week. I will be dropping gems. I will be dropping information, um, so that we can keep this conversation going throughout the week. And like I said, if you'd like to share, get in touch with me through my socials or my email, which will be in the description um, box for this episode. And maybe we can do a follow up episode on AI. Okay? So, all right, beautiful people, that brings us to the end of today's episode. If today's conversation gave you something to reflect on, I'll leave you with this final thought. Technology is a tool, not a takeover. The goal isn't to reject it or rely on it completely. It's to use it with intention so it supports the life you want to live. When you choose how and when to use technology, you protect your peace, your presence, and your personal touch, right? You want your fingerprint to be on it. So that's the real modern convenience. That's the real modern convenience, okay? Please share this conversation with someone who might need a little information today. And if you found value in this space, I would love to have you join me again next week for more conversations that nourish the mind and soothe the soul. I'll be back next Monday, August 18th, with season 1, episode 19 of Cup of Cocoa and Chat, the podcast. So mark your calendar, pour your favorite drink, and meet your girl right back here for more good vibes, meaningful conversation, and purpose filled moments. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay encouraged, And as always, peace and blessings. I love you guys, and I mean it.